Good morning, Tony Virtue speaking, Virtue and Partners, and welcome to the new year. Hopefully you got a good break and enjoying some of the beautiful summer we've got here, particularly in Sydney at the moment. I guess markets driven very much by the Trump ascendancy in the US, and quite a polarizing figure, but that's the reality of what we're dealing with. I actually read the Washington Post's biography of him over the break, which gave a pretty good guide as to his background and history. Some of you have been to Trump Town, no doubt, over in New York. So, look, he is used to doing deals and he is a pragmatist. So he has actually changed parties many times, apparently, over the last few years, from Democrat to Independent, back to Republican. So, if anything, he's a deal maker. So let's just see how that plays out. So far, the markets rallied. The Dow actually hit 20,000 points for the first time ever. We'll just have to see how sustainable that is. Let's look for some genuine earnings coming up from quarterly earnings in the US. Let's look at genuine growth figures there. There will be some contentiousness, there's no question about that, and look, a wise person I think would have to add a special margin of safety, can we say, for the Trump factor. As best I can, I would say this reflects the Reagan eras at the moment, which actually turned out to be Ronald Reagan, if you remember him, and that actually worked out to be quite a good time for markets. They built up quite a lot of infrastructure, and markets were pretty much pro-business. Politically, the Republicans now control all aspects of Congress, first time since 1920. So you may or may not like what they're going to do, but they will be able to make some decisions. So we won't have the same debt ceilings and all of these dramas, I hope, that we've had historically with a conflicted government over there. So let's just see. I mean, obviously the immediate thing is people getting in and out of the country, and no doubt there'll be more protests. At a business level, we'll tend to look a little bit beyond that and look at figures. This whole area of nationalism seems to be coming out globally at the moment. So we're seeing again in the United Kingdom. Apparently now that the Parliament will have to vote on Brexit, which will give them every opportunity to push the Europeans even harder in how they deal with that. At the end of the day, Britain will look to do business with the US, with Australia hopefully, and one door will close, another will open, and it may well work in their favour. In the short term, the FTSE 100's been again at all-time high. How's that? Meanwhile, the pound has declined substantially, and that's kind of been the balancing item in how this has all worked out. Domestically, pretty good news. Terms of trade well up last week. So the price of iron ore, price of coal has gone up substantially, and that's reflected in the share price of the Fortescues, the Rios, the BHPs, Whitehaven Coal. That's going to help the nation, and we'll see how sustainable it is, but it will help to get the balance of trade back under control. Should pay down a little bit of the national debt, which actually has now hit 500 billion. Can you believe that? So this will help with high levels of corporation tax. It will also protect the AAA rating of the country. So that's a positive, and let's just hope that is sustainable. CPI still very low, came in annualised 1.6%, and in fact some goods now, including women's shoes, are cheaper now than they were 25 years ago. So you're seeing that with some of the purchasing at the moment, whether that's phones, etc., are now cheaper than what they were in the past. So that's a positive. I guess the thing that really is, particularly for Sydney people, of concern is the price of housing. That continues to go up unabated. Let me say this is a bit of a global situation. We're seeing something similar in Vancouver, similar in New York, similar in London, where there's a bit of a trend to people moving into the cities. And with very low levels of debt, people are prepared to load up and borrow more. I think the fact they're not spending as much money on other goods and services does give them some more flexibility there. And in Sydney, it's almost become a self-fulfilling prophecy that buying property is good and it will go up, and so that like begets like. At the end of the day, they will need to look at the tax situation of this, both the fact that principal place of residence are free from tax. We've got plenty of people moving from home to home every couple of years in a tax-free way and collecting a cheque doing it. And also on the negative gearing side, eventually something will have to give there, and that's the business reality of what we're looking at. So all in all, I think that we should be reasonably confident going into this year. Some of the growth figures are looking okay, and that really will drive markets rather than all the political distractions we see at the moment. We're all back to work and working hard, lots going on, so I look forward to seeing you personally face to face as soon as possible. Take care, Tony.